Hi, it's Kai. Number 8, Mona Lisa's eyebrows. Okay, let's start with the curious feature about the Mona Lisa, her lack of eyebrows. Did you ever notice? Actually, before we go there, let's talk a little about how Mona Lisa came to be painted. The artist was a man of many talents, the one and only Leonardo da Vinci. He lived during the High Renaissance period of the late 15th century to the early 16th century. He's believed to have created the Mona Lisa in 1503 using oil paint. While the piece is famously mysterious, the identity of the subject isn't. Noblewoman Lisa del Giocondo is the individual who sat for Da Vinci as revealed in 2005. So there's nothing dark and strange going on with that. We still have a lot of stuff to mention though. Her eyebrows, for example. Did the Mona Lisa have them or did she not? In 2007, Pascal Cot, an engineer from Paris, used the latest tech to scan the image and see for himself. The original brows may not be visible anymore, but Cot found traces by looking up close. Reportedly, she doesn't just have eyebrows, but eyelashes. Doesn't make her any less enigmatic and mysterious, though. In fact, the absence of eyebrows makes her a little sinister. Not that I have anything against folk with no eyebrows, it just adds to the Mona Lisa's sense of ambiguity. The famous lady is one of the most recognized on the planet, but is there a shocking side to her that could stun those armies of art lovers and postcard buyers? Number 7, Steamy Times with Mona Lisa. Mona Lisa herself actually spent a considerable amount of time in a bathhouse. Well, the painting did. All right, I exaggerated a little bit. What did you guys expect? What I'm saying is that she's been around a lot. The painting. As in decorating the walls of a variety of locations. Currently, Da Vinci's masterpiece can be seen in the Louvre, where it's been since 1797. You may have noticed it during the first episode of Netflix heist drama, Lupin. The Palace of Fontainebleau near the French capital is where all the steamy action took place. Having been bought by King Francis I, it wound up in a very inappropriate environment. Apparently His Highness picked up the painting for a cool $10 million in today's money. You'd think he would have taken good care of it after he spent so much dough. This sweaty scenario, which went on for decades, changed the appearance of Mona Lisa forever. You see those lines all over her here? That was the result of being at the palace. Yet it wasn't the indoor climate that made the lines. It was the restorer. By putting lacquer over the top, cracks appeared. We're guessing people got a little, steamed up after seeing what happened. Number 6, she had her elbow broken. 1956 was a bad year for Mona Lisa. How come? For starters, her elbow sustained some damage when someone, who we presume wasn't an art lover, pitched a rock at the painting. Huffington Post described the young culprit as a young Bolivian. If that wasn't bad enough, an acid attack happened earlier in the year. What is it about the Mona Lisa that people just can't stand? The outlet mentions that these days the artwork is kept behind special glass. It's reportedly triple laminated in case anyone goes on a literal acid trip. Plus, it's bulletproof. You have to be crazy to open fire on such an incredible painting. But on this evidence, we can't blame the Louvre for using some heavy-duty security measures. Poor Mona Lisa. Not only do people want to steal her away, they want to physically hurt her also. HuffPost also brings up an angry Russian who decided to take revenge on the Mona Lisa after her application for French citizenship fell through. What projectile did she choose to inflict the damage? A Louvre mug. Acid attacks and bulletproof glass aside, there are other things the Mona Lisa has to worry about, like her state of being. Yes, people have examined the painting in depth and concluded she was far from a healthy lady. Number 5, Mona Lisa's health. Modern medicine is a miracle, right? It can spot complicated conditions in patients. And according to a contribution from 2018, it comes in handy for diagnosing paintings also. What's that? Diagnosing a painting? Sounds a little strange. However, when the artwork is the Mona Lisa, everyone has an opinion, including the medical profession. Did Lisa del Giocondo, who posed for Da Vinci as he created the Mona Lisa, have hypothyroidism? That was the theory put forward by Mandy Mayra, a cardiologist, and Dr. Hilary Campbell a couple years ago. Before we go anywhere, what is hypothyroidism? It's when the hormones T3 and T4 aren't produced properly by an individual's thyroid gland. You're probably wondering, what are these hormones? What they do is regulate a person's metabolism. If something is amiss there, then you have a problem with vitamin A in the body. How so? Vitamin A is made when the liver processes colored pigments, known as carotene, from foodstuffs like carrots. The lack of T3 and T4 hormones means the liver can't do what it's supposed to do. How does this apply to Mona Lisa, aka Lisa del Giocondo? The doctors point out the painted lady has yellow skin. What causes the yellow tinge? Carotene that can't pass through the liver. We mentioned the Mona Lisa's absence of eyebrows earlier. She also shows a receding hairline. These two could be linked to hypothyroidism. Does the Mona Lisa have a slightly protruding neck? If she does, it may well indicate the presence of a big thyroid. This develops into a goiter. Better get that checked, Mona. The condition might also explain the ambiguous expression on her face, interpreted through the ages. Hypothyroidism results in nerve damage and issues with the muscles of the face. The learned authors suggest that Mona Lisa has such a low-key smile because she can't make one in the first place. If you want to read for yourself what Mayra and Campbell wrote in their letter, you can see for yourself on their website, Mayo Clinic Proceedings. Whether it's a medical shot in the dark or a major revelation, the investigations are fascinating. She may have been painted in the early 16th century, but the Mona Lisa is still being talked about today by all manner of experts. Do you think it's even possible to diagnose hypothyroidism from just a painting? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're liking this video, be sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. Number 4, Mona Lisa's smile. Provided the lady's famous smile isn't put down to a health-threatening condition, you can find all manner of explanations for why she appears the way she does. Let's take an in-depth look at the unmistakable face of hers. What's the best way to get to the bottom of the Mona Lisa's smile? Her expression is said to change depending on how you look at her. It's one of the art scene's most famous mysteries. But was it resolved back in 2017? A team from the University of Freiburg in the area of Breisgau, southwest Germany, thought it would be a good idea to play an epic game of compare and contrast. They produced 9 black and white images of Da Vinci's famous work. One was the expression she wears in the Louvre. The others were digitally altered so they'd appear in various states of happiness or sadness. So, how did the lady herself fare in this lineup? Reportedly, subjects believed the original expression to be happy in almost 100% of feedback. This simple experiment seemed to have thrown the idea of Mona Lisa being enigmatic out the window. As far as the university is concerned, she's perfectly content with what's happening in the artist's studio. Bearing in mind that Da Vinci spent a mammoth 16 years perfecting his legendary work, you might want to put the face down to intricate brushwork and many hours of thought. After all, if Da Vinci wanted the Mona Lisa to look happy, wouldn't he have given her a big smile? The whole point is that the Mona Lisa is a little inscrutable, right? Or maybe the scientists are right and Da Vinci intended her to be a cheerful soul. It's not like we can go back in time and ask him. Well, perhaps we can at some point, but that's for another video. Number 3, how many Mona Lisas are there? The Mona Lisa is a singular artistic vision for sure, but is she a single lady? By which I mean, is this one the only existing painting of Lisa del Giocondo? Most would argue there's only one Mona Lisa. Evidence of Leonardo da Vinci's painting over existing work has led to observations that more than one exists, albeit all on the same canvas. However, there is a debate going on about other versions, possibly painted by the master himself. This is the Isleworth Mona Lisa, and it has an interesting story behind it. Also known as the earlier Mona Lisa, it was found in Somerset, England during the 20th century. A buyer named Hugh Blaker purchased it. Art dealer and author Henry Pulitzer took it on later. According to a BBC report from 2019, Henry thought it was painted by Leonardo. Flash forward to 2012, a mysterious consortium fronted by the Mona Lisa Foundation publicizes the Isleworth Mona Lisa. They apparently own the piece, but lurking in the shadows is a surprising twist. A couple, Andrew and Karen Gilbert, believe they're part owners of the piece. Back when the painting was Henry's, a 25% share was reportedly purchased by the Gilberts. The battle goes on still, with no definitive answers. It just goes to show that a painting that's 100 years old is full of surprises. Beautiful it may be, but the Mona Lisa seems to have a dark background that will take a long time to untangle. Is there another Mona Lisa out there? Maybe Leonardo painted a lot of them, if he painted this example at all. Who can say? Nothing surprises us when it comes to the icon of the art world. Number 2, she drove men to fatal distraction. As befitting an image that's endured through the centuries, the Mona Lisa has inspired devotion in those who look at her. And according to one story, someone took their interest a little too far. Apparently, a French artist named Luc Maspero resorted to drastic measures when finding himself unable to work out why Mona Lisa was smiling. This was back in 1852, long before studies were carried out that seemed to show the answer. Maspero's brain was clearly at a boiling point over the matter, so he decided to forget about it. How did he do this? By plunging to his death from a hotel in Paris. We know the Mona Lisa is world class, but is she really worth ending your life over? The young Mr. Maspero certainly thought so. He'd reportedly devoted years of his life to puzzling it all out. It makes for an interesting story, but according to some, the whole story is made up. The Museum of Hoaxes' verdict is that there's a lack of evidence to back up what's being said about Luc Maspero. In fact, he could be a made-up figure who some crafty commentator came up with relatively recently. Is this some crazy publicity scheme? If so, it's a dark one. The painting is so good someone killed themselves over it isn't really our idea of a unique selling point. But hey, we're still talking about it, so it was effective, right? Number 1. Da Vinci had his own dark side. For our final entry on this Renaissance-fueled rundown, we turn away from the Mona Lisa to look at the great artist who painted her. What better way of exploring the Mona Lisa's darkest secrets than through the activities of one Leonardo da Vinci? Da Vinci is regarded as an expert in drawing the human anatomy. But what made him so good? The grim answer is that he relied on using corpses for his sketchbook. Yes, actual human bodies that he studied up close and personal in order to get the details just right. Hold on, you're probably thinking, drawing dead people? Is that even legal? Well, here's another dark detail. It wasn't. Leonardo worked with tomb raiders who'd bring him the deceased so he could hone in on his artistic skills. Sounds like a horror movie and not something you'd expect from a revered artist. As if that wasn't gross enough, he went and dissected some of his subjects. In fairness to Da Vinci, he wanted to learn, and if he had to break the law to do it, well, he figured it was a price worth paying. Things worked out differently a couple hundred years ago. The good thing that came from all the grave robbing and slicing is the way it affected Da Vinci's knowledge. He simply wouldn't be the human being he was without getting up to all of this stuff. For better or worse, Leonardo da Vinci is the man who brought us the Mona Lisa. But he was also good at illegal operations. What a strange world we live in. Thanks for watching. Are there any other dark secrets behind the Mona Lisa you think I should have included on the list? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!